Group B, Murky Cup, number 2 continues. The bounty system in full swing as we've seen CHO'GALL, Murky, Nova, Twin Blade variant, Butcher, you name it. And now we have the Americans showing up, the Freedom Exporters. I was actually just talking about this a little bit. The team name is kind of funny, but I am also 100% certain, there's like no doubt in my mind, it's not even a question. If they would have tried to call themselves the Freedom Exporters during the days of HGC, that would have been shut down immediately. They would have not been allowed to call themselves that. 100%. Best of 3 series, we are in the winner bracket. We got the North Americans going up against the Cats in red. This is game number 1. Again, 2 rules that we have within the draft. First of all, every hero can only be played once within a series. So every single hero that you see in game number 1 cannot be played again in the same series. And we have bounties. I think by now most people are probably familiar with the bounty concept. In case that you are not, again, put them up on screen here. So we have bounties that teams can complete while playing the tournament. They don't have to. This is all optional. We have €1,000 as a prize pool for the tournament. Totally traditional prize pool, like you know from any other tournament. Top teams are fighting for it. And then we have a bounty pool, a second prize pool that is actually crowdfunded. So if you want to support the tournament, if you want to support the shenanigans that you're seeing on screen right now, you can actually do that. You can come in to the description on YouTube and just click the link there. There's a crowdfunding and everything goes to the prize pool. So once again, these are the bounties, and the way that this works is that any of the bounties that you see, once completed, will give the team that completes the bounty a point. If the team fails the bounty, they get half a point. All of these bounties can be completed once by each team. Once the bounty is completed, you can't complete it again. You can play the same hero again, you just don't get anything for it. You can fail a bounty, on the other hand, as many times as you want. It doesn't really matter. And then at the end of the tournament, we're gonna sum up all of the bounties. We see how many were completed in total, and each team then gets a share out of that second prize pool, depending on how many bounties they themselves completed. It's a pretty straightforward concept. It honestly sounds at first a little bit more complex than it actually is. It's insanely straightforward. At the end of the day, it is an incentive. You have to make a risk-reward calculation as a team whether you want to play any of these heroes. These are obviously handicaps. These are heroes that normally would not get played. And you have to make that calculation for yourself. Do you want to do that and risk losing the map? Or are you playing for, in addition to the victory, also to increase your bounty points? That's pretty much what it is. So as we're heading into game number 1, we'll see what the teams are going to pull off here. We had a couple of teams that went all in. Like absolutely all in. Bounty attempts every single map. Like without fault. And then we had others that whenever it got a little bit tricky, when they were down a map, for example, they were like, maybe we shouldn't try this. And they just backed off quickly and just went for a full-on meta composition and then started to try and proceed through the tournament bracket. Now, again, this is Group B, and we'll see what happens here. We have a losers bracket as well, so this is a winner bracket match right now, but whichever team loses is not dropping out of the tournament, they're not getting eliminated, they still have a chance. This is a good ban, by the way, because the Cats, they love to play CHO'GALL, and they will play CHO'GALL at some point. If there's one team where I'm sure that they're also going to try the CHO'GALL bounty, it's the Cats, 100%. And now with CHO'GALL being banned, I think at some point they will have to pick him early if they really want him. But it was obvious that that would happen eventually. So good move by the blue team. That was a smart one right there. I can pretty much guarantee you they would have picked CHO'GALL. And everybody knows it. We had CHO'GALL a few times played already. And I think the bounty with CHO'GALL has been successfully completed twice. Yeah, I think twice. So yeah, we had great games. I mean, we had Butcher, Twin Blade variant. I think the Butcher games are probably my favorite ones. Valera, we had some great Valera games. Nova games too. Again, if you watch this on YouTube, you can go into the playlist and check them out right there. By the way, if you watch it on YouTube, I say this every single time, but it's actually true. Make sure that you like the video. It's really, really important. Lately, we had more people actually hit the like button, and it recommends videos to people that watched Heroes of the Storm in the past pretty reliably at this point. I get comment after comment of people that are saying like, hey, this randomly showed up in my feed. Awesome, the game is still alive. I'm actually going to play a little bit. I get that non-stop. I should actually put at some point some screenshots on top because people won't believe me. But I get this so regularly right now, it's ridiculous. So it really, really helps if you like the video and if you subscribe to the channel to spread the love a little bit and show people that Heroes of the Storm is still alive and kicking even in 2025. Anduin, by the way, together with GNG now, so the light bomb engages in. Pretty heavy engage comp. And no bounty attempt for the cats. Like nothing. Then again, for the Freedom experts, are they going to pick something here? We have Tassadar, Stitches. No bounty either. Look at these guys. They're getting a little bit shy over here. Game number 1 on a single bounty attempt. Alright. First map, Tomb of the Spider Queen. Let's see what we get. Freedom exporters against the three-legged cats. Game number 1, the Freedom Exporters over on the left side with Cure on the Haka. We got Canopy Growth on Stitches. That should be Justing, by the way, so I think he's just using an alt account here. Prisma is playing Tassadar. We got Porky on Rega and Madara on Thrall. Over on the right side of the map, the three-legged cats with Drakia on Genji. We got Maitri on Blaze. Hirath on Anubarak. Nano with Gul'dan. He's back on the mages. And then Captain Rex with Anduin. Let's go. Stitches also on level 1. This makes me actually sad a little bit. They went for Hungry for More here. Would have been fantastic to go for Alexstrasza and try for bounty completion. But they missed out on that. They went for Rega instead. So it's kind of a shame. Shout out to the Americans, by the way. Let's not forget, they are playing cross-server here. All of these games are played out on the European server. We're not going for server swaps or anything. It's a European tournament, and they still signed up for it. So not only is it a time change, time zone issue, but for them, they play with a bit of a ping disadvantage too. So definitely need to point this out here. Huge thank you that they actually signed up for the tournament here, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do. It's always a little bit tricky when you're playing cross-server, but they're starting off well. They're coming in, and they're taking down Gul'dan. So Gul'dan is already gone, and that was a very, very quick first kill from them. God, I'm looking over at the 4 stacks that we're seeing here on level 1 with Hungry for More, and I'm just salty that they didn't go for Alexstrasza. This is so sad. Alexstrasza would have been absolutely amazing here. I mean, he's already picking the right talent. He's already getting good stacks. Now just imagine if Alexstrasza would boost him even further. He would be that unkillable beast in the mid and late game. It would be amazing. Unfortunately, that's not quite what we have here. But, well, different game. Another time. 1 kill against 0. People are just working on their stacks a little bit. We have a full Fell Flame build for Gul'dan with the Pursuit of Flame over here. Oh, and the hooks and the wall. Yeah, the only thing that you're basically missing is somebody that can bully people into a wall. Diablo, for example, but that would be a bit of an overkill as a front line. Regardless, always a nice combo when you have Tassadar just simply walling things off. They steal the camp at the bottom of the map. So yeah, they claim it. The Haka comes in, and another one shuts the door. And Anub got wrecked. He's gone. The Beetle eliminated. The Cockroach is down. And that is kill number 2. So the blue team is exporting freedom. And a lot of it. Look at it. They're breaking down walls. They're breaking down towers. Freedom is getting exported whether you want it or not. And currently the cats, they are benefiting from all that export. There's a couple of tariffs involved, of course, as well, but hey, that's just what it is. Gotta say bye-bye to the money.
And we say bye-bye!
Bye-bye!
So, now, 39 gems for them, starting on the turn-in. For the red team, it's basically just dodge the hooks at this point. They are falling behind in experience too, though, so they have to be a bit careful of that. You don't want to fall behind in experience by too much, especially when we're starting to see objectives. You don't want to be a talent behind, for example, so they have to be careful around that. Now, all the way up at the top, that's where we're now having Madara again rushing away. Also with the Wolf now on level 4, so doesn't have any stacks at this point, but again, we'll see when he completes the quest. Aggression against Stitches. Nice, I like it. And that, oh my god, the save! The save from Porky. And they're going immediately for Drakia, but that was so close to the first kill for the team. But yep, they get him out. Nicely done. Good save from the blue team. Oh, that on the other hand, yeah, that's the end of Tassadar. Tassadar gets murdered just as level 7 kicks in for the blue team. And with Tassadar the first one to fall, now the question, yeah, they can get a counter kill. They go for Genji, they lock him down with the Wolf, and that is him gone. Now, when it comes to turn-ins, the red team has now lost a few of their gems. Blue team still has plenty to get the first set of web weavers into the game. Stitch is now with 12 stacks. Keep in mind that the movement speed, of course, matters too. It's actually one of the big things for him. Once he hits 20, he's going to get another 5%. 10 in total, given the 5 that he receives baseline whenever he picks the quest. And they already have the bot lane opened up. This could actually destroy a fort. Depending on how they play their cards here, they could try and take a fort out. We have up at the top, Genji, I don't want to say in trouble, moves past this one easily, just jumps out. So Dracula, maybe for a second it looked a little bit iffy, but he's still totally fine. But now the push is coming, and this could hurt. Some of the walls will definitely fall. The only question is, when it comes to actual structures, like forts, how much can they do? Oh my god, if they can get the gems! Anduin! Anduin is in trouble, and he's gone. He's suffering from a severe lack of hit points. The gems are being collected. Rega goes down, so does Genji. It's a bit of a bloodbath up at the top. They're turning Tomb of the Spider Queen into a full-on graveyard. But Inuburak at least made it out with the 27 gems that he's holding. But you just look at the lane, and that is a fort destroyed with the first objective. And the leading experience for the blue team is solid. That's a level advantage. And to make matters worse for the Cats, that's level 10. Thrall is already waiting for the boss. It's not even the biggest problem. With level 10, you can shut down any attempt of the Cats to get a turn-in. And they're dangerously close to another turn-in themselves. So they are exporting a lot of damage and pain over here. Stitches now has Gorge, Sundering. We have Archon for Tassadar. And yeah, Isolation being used as an interrupt. They don't want them to turn in. They want to try and get the boss plus the turn in, but I don't think that's going to be happening. Now, once that Herath turns in, he actually delayed it for just a second. They want to have level 10 with it, of course, as well. But it's going to be a boss defense up at the top. And the Web Weavers are going to kick in on the lane. There's still Siege Giants to be claimed, and this is something that the Cats were able to pull off too. Now we have both teams on level 10 abilities, so that makes things a bit more even. And also allows, finally, for Genji to get the Light Bomb engaged with the help of Anduin. Quest completed for Tassadar. 21 stacks for Stitches. It's always nice. 10% movement speed bonus right now and 500 additional hit points. That's always neat. Blaze is defending at the top solo. It's not the entire team that's moving into the boss defense. They just need to do some damage with the Web Weavers as well. And they're trying to accomplish that in the middle of the map as they're breaking through the wall. Khaldor completes his quest 2 now, so a little bit more on the wave clear for him. Can easily try and get some more damage worked in with the AoE, but the hook is a little bit too short here. Still, those things are going to get dangerous in just a moment. When the next talent here is going to get the hook range increase, and then they have to be really careful on this. Top side, the Cats showing their claws. 14,000 damage from Gul'dan. Top damage in the game, actually. Can maybe up those numbers up a little bit more. Cure is already moving. They have so many gems here. They have so many gems. The first Web Weaver wave of the Cats hasn't done a whole lot. It has done some damage, but they haven't been able to take a fort out, for example. Down here, Sundering is in. Cure. Dracula also a bit low. Light Bomb is still available. There's the hook and the kill as Genji dies again. Genji gone for the 3rd time now. They're taken out 3 times already in this game. So half the kills of the Freedom Exporters are against Genji. Yeah, they don't like him whatsoever. Now, the blue team is trying to export a little bit more freedom. They're also trying to deliver a few more gems. They have the level 13 talents, and now Stitches is happy. He has the hook extension and can start hammering those out. In addition to that, we get the Primal Rage. Cure is getting angry. Shadow Walk is in, and another set of Web Weavers. There's the hook, the wall. I was just honestly waiting for them to make a move around Gorge and trying to get a kill here. Just imagine a kill at that moment. You have Web Weavers, you have a camp, and then you get a kill too. That would have been such a brutal push. Cats would have lost a lot, but now they can at least still fight back here. The problem remains, there's heavy aggression coming through the middle of the map and then also down at the bot lane. But it seems like this is going to be another fort that likely falls. Not maybe in the middle, but as they're now rotating down back to the bottom of the map, I think this one is going to be taken out. There's just too many heroes here. They consolidate on this one. Easy peasy. Easy damage done. There's still pressure at the top lane too, by the way. This keep is going to take some damage. We're going to talk keep damage at this point. Khaldor is moving in to deal with it. But interestingly enough, the cats have actually saved both of their forts. Bottom of the map, middle of the map, all of them are still standing. Now, the blue team is still trying to get some extra damage in, but yeah, not too bad. Gotta give some credit to Stitches. 30 stacks nearly, it's not bad. 10 minutes in, so he gets some serious hit points. 750 at this point. I just wish that some of the Stitches players would spec at least a little bit into Devour talents. Again, procs off the max HP, so you become unkillable at some point. Ah, there's the Gorge. Can they lock him down long enough though? He's gonna try and jump out here. Gets the stun, dives away, and there's no follow-up hook just yet. So they might be able to just move out from this one. It was actually pretty amazing, like the... oh, careful. Horrify is out, and the kill against Rhaegar. Rhaegar gone, finally a sign of life of the cats here. Back in the day, Stitches, whenever you hit a Devour, you had this regeneration talent that gave you 8 hit points per second. I think that was the initial value. 8 hit points per second. So you could just go in with Stitches at that time, and you could just like hit keep, by the way, taken out by the Haka. I mean, they're losing some ground here, but totally worth it for the keep. So with Stitches, you would just stack up that talent, and you would easily end up in a situation where you had 200 hit points regenerated every second or more. It was hilarious. Sometimes, like, the opponent's team could even out-damage you. So Cure, they might actually interrupt him a little bit and just wait for this, because honestly, the longer... The 21 gems are lost. There's no Medivh here or somebody can save you. So the longer they just like set him up here, the better, because they are just making sure that they are continuously with 4 man on the map. So, yeah. I mean, the keep being destroyed, I think totally worth it, but you lose the gems now, that's a bit of a problem. Down at the bottom of the map, they get another fort, so him buying some time and 3 people dealing with this was maybe a bit overkill. It's 5 kills to 6 now. Structurally, of course, the red team has suffered, but we'll see how much more they can now do with the next turn, because there's just no way that this one gets interrupted. You have level 16 in, that gives us Pulverize, it gives us a Psychic Shot. Thrall has Alpha Wolf, but he still hasn't completed his level 4 talent, so that's a bit of a setback. Structurally, the cats have suffered a lot. They need to make up for it. Before the Web Weavers even descend, they already take one of the forts out. So destroying the forts is pretty much the minimum. There's still technically one standing in the middle of the map for the red team, but this one is going to get destroyed very, very quickly. Taking out that topside keep was great. I mean, if you have a global, you can always try to go for those side lane pressure plays, and that's what they did. The question is just simply how much value can the cats now get out of their own. Oh, that hook is gold! The cocoon is there. Light bomb engage into the back, but Anduin is dead again. Anduin is gone. That's the one hero that they needed to save. And then Thrall, yep, he survives. Genji gets gobbled up. That does not look good. And boom! Genji is gone. That's 2 heroes down on the red team. Yeah, that's a disaster. Just as they finally have a shot to get back into the game, they lose 2 heroes on the attack. A little bit of damage on the keep. Fort at the bottom of the map is nearly gone. Top side might take some damage, but it's still kind of crazy. If they save the heroes here, they have a shot to do some serious, serious damage. But that's not what happened. So now we have Stitches on 37 stacks. He's closing in slowly but steadily on the 1,000 extra hit points that he gets. And on 15% movement speed advantage. The Haka, well, the stun doesn't connect. I don't think that the 2 of them would have been able to get the kill anyways. They might be able to take at least the camp. But yeah, taking the Haka out, that would have been a bit of a stretch. But stealing the camp away is already big. That's already a huge play for them. So boss has again been taken. They need to get out with Nubarak. Alright, dodges out on the hook. Dodges out on the wolf, and is able to get out here for sure. Both of the teams now working on their third turn-in, and the blue team is very, very close to getting one. Obviously, the boss is going straight for the core. Shouldn't really be able to do a whole lot here. But yeah, for a moment, I really thought that Genji was actually trying to go into the middle to help the team out, but that would have been a bit too early. We're only 14 minutes in, and that boss doesn't hit that hard yet, but it would have definitely done core damage. So, yeah, got to delay this just a little bit longer. 30 gems have been delivered. Yeah, and Madara also gets his gems in. He is suffering on his level 4. Oh, Sundering? And where's the wolf? Oh no! They missed the wall, they locked the wolf in, and he bunkers up. So yeah, he's still fine. The core is at 86% because of the boss attack, but now they're back down at the bottom of the map with the entire team. With the light bomb, they're starting to move in. The Cocoon on Rhaegar as they're trying to shut down the healing. Gorge against Gul'dan. Nice save from Anduin initially, but the Haka was ready for a cure. Takes Gul'dan out. There's the Ancestral on Thrall. And they kill Genji as well. Genji having a shitty game. 5 deaths on Dracula. That's insane though. That's an insane hearth right there. Right in front of them. So, yeah, they're losing a lot. Genji was the only one defending against the boss on the core, so the core took a little bit of damage, which is fine. But they needed to win the team fight afterwards, and they just couldn't. Stitches hasn't died yet in this game. And now they're already moving in on the core with level 20 talents, with web weavers. It's a 5 versus 3. The shield evaporates within seconds. Blue team on their way to victory in game number 1. Freedom exported. Check. Yeah, looks like it's working out for them. And Nubarak is gone. That's 11 kills, 2-5. Another hook against Anduina. And the Crybaby goes down. Gets actually eaten. That's the only fate that I accept for Brightwing. Gets eaten there. And runs away. Actually escapes. Holy hell, Thrall is gone, the core as well, and that is game. Anduin survived. The cat still lost, and the Freedom Exporters take the W.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Welcome to Tomb of the Garden Curse, map number 2. This is like a special one. On this map, teams are collecting tributes, seeds. They're collecting seeds. And then once that they have 3 seeds, they're actually summoning garden terrors, my bad. Like they're summoning garden terrors. It's a totally different concept. It's like, yeah, it's brand new. So make sure that you don't mix it. It's brand new. It's like a totally different concept. It's absolutely not them copying the mechanics on 2 different maps here. Totally different thing. So game number 2, we have right now a lead for the Freedom Exporters. 10 heroes have been played and cannot be played again. And now the question whether or not we're going to see one of the teams go for bounties. Now let's be honest, after just losing on the first map, it's a little bit unlikely that the cats are actually going for a bounty. Unless they really feel that with their playstyle it gives them an edge over the opponent. But giving yourself an extra handicap where you're already behind in the series, unlikely. Would be cool. Maybe if they pick something like the Vikings, would go for Longboat. Maybe if they think, okay, we're gonna go for macro strategy around Zagara, they would consider taking Nidus. But generally speaking, they are more likely to let bounties go. Whereas for the Freedom Exporters, this is obviously a prime opportunity. You're already ahead. You're in a 1-0 position. You could go for bounties right now. So once again, bounty list is right here. All of those still available for the 2 teams. Since Group B technically just started, pretty much all of these teams haven't completed bounties yet. A few of the teams have tried bounties. The CHO'GALL bounty was completed, but I think that was the only bounty up to this point that has actually been successfully completed in the game that we had here live. There was one series that we still have to see what was done there. Chromie now as a first pick. But yeah, for the 2 teams here, plenty to choose from. If they want to go for some bounties, they definitely can. So let's see what they're going to pull off here. Now, there is, by the way, in the description, as I already mentioned, there will be a link to the bounty list, so check that one out. If you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button, hit it hard. And again, if you want to also contribute to the crowdfunding, you can do that. People have asked in the past, how can I support a tournament directly? Now, we've set something up, and you can actually do that. Link is also in the description, as I said. Now, Sylvanas and Brightwing. for the early start on the side of the Freedom Exporters. With Sylvanas, you can definitely start to push the side lane. And there's our CHO'GALL pick. Game number 1, it was banned on the 3rd position. This time they learned. So this time the cats, they're looking at it like, well, fair enough. If we actually want to play CHO'GALL, we will have to pick him before the 3rd pick. And this is an interesting one for the cats. Because the cats have played CHO'GALL here in the past. And one of the strategies that they're running with CHO'GALL is survive until level 20, pick the death timer reduction talent, and then just start hitting. Cross the map, attack structures, take him down, die in the process, and your opponent can't really punish you properly for it, because by the time they cross the map, you already respawned and you're ready for defense. They've done it on this map multiple times in the past. Now, is that the winning strategy? No, but it's at least something that they can do if this goes to level 20 and they find themselves into a decent position to do it. So it's just one tool in their tool belt when they're playing CHO'GALL on this map. It's definitely something that they have already in the back of their mind before they're even starting this one. So this could be interesting. Leo is banned. There's still plenty around. They go for Zul in this case. Ooh, and Abathar. Alright, so Abathar with the Locust build is a bounty, but then at the same time, would you really go for a Locust build on Garden of Terror? Huh. I mean, time will tell. I'd be curious though. I could see a Greymane pick, for example, and then you get the copy Greymane, Symbiote power would be nice. Hogger now for the cats. And we're getting Stukov for the heals. CHO'GALL, Hogger, Stukov. And the final pick for Cure. Usually more so on the side lane. So what are we going to get here? This could get really interesting really, really quickly. Zul, I guess, main tank with a little bit of support from Abathar, but I'm not so sure if this is going to be a Locust attempt. This seems more that they're not playing this with a bounty, honestly. So, time will tell. Cure goes Malthael. Malthael is in the house. They have a tool against CHO'GALL, obviously, and Garden of Terror is our second map in the best of 3 series. Without further ado, the Freedom Exporters against the Cats. Game number 2, match point essentially for the blue team. And, well, as things start to kick off, we have for the Freedom Exporters Cure on Malthael. We got Prismatism on Sylvanas. Canopy Growth, aka Justing, is playing Zul. We got Madara on Abathar. And Porky on Brightwing. On the right side of the map, my try with Hogger. We get Drakia on Gal. Hirath is playing Cho. Captain Rex on Stukov. And Nano with one of his favorite heroes, of course. He's going for Chromie. Yay! Shut up. So, the Chrome Star is in the house, and we got a Symbiote build on Abathar, so hopes and dreams of everybody that wanted to see a Locust build on this one already crushed. But, yeah, I'm kind of curious how this is going to work out. There's a bounty attempt in the cards now for the cats. They're saying, hey, we're going to go CHO'GALL here. This is something that they have, by the way, done in the past, even without a bounty system. So, they like to play CHO'GALL. They don't do it like all the time, but you get the occasional CHO'GALL pick from them, depending on map and team composition. Can they make that work here against the Americans? That's the big question. Level 1, the Unfurling Shadows. We'll see how quickly this can be stacked and by how much. Already the pressure at the top, and Cure needs assistance, and Brightwing is happy to supply this. Obviously, with CHO'GALL, you're essentially playing against 3 heroes on the lane. The big question will be the mid and late game, and late game in particular. The Freedom Exporters are struggling to control the early and mid game, then I think in the late game they're going to be in for a very rough ride, given what we've seen in the past from the Cats. But the blue team has done an exceptional job on the first map, so if they can just continue in the same vein, just come in here and get the mad value, play the macro game, then hey, why not? There's going to be a lot of survivability on Zul too. I mean, Zul generally can really cleave his way through a team fight. And then when on top of that you also have the Abathar support, I mean, hey, even better. So, CHO'GALL already getting busy up at the top, trying again to isolate a couple of heroes, but they have to deal with the mercenary camps too. We have for Stukov on level 1 now, the Fed in touch here in regards to his build. And Chromie all the way down at the bottom of the map right now. This is going to play a big role later on for the Cats. I mean, again, Nano and Chromie is obviously crazy good. There is a reason why Chromie gets banned out a lot against Nano. Just so we're seeing this a lot. Cure, he is going to be pretty big against CHO'GALL as the game continues. And he is under pressure. So is Sylvanas. Not even close. Somebody was flirting with death, and I don't mean Malthael right now. So, not a single kill yet. Yeah, actually, Sylvanas Malthael? Are we shipping this or not? I'm not quite sure. But yeah, Sylvanas Malthael, Dream Team. Dream Team! That is the lore that Blizzard doesn't want to tell you. You know, this is like the cross lore. They never met in World of Warcraft and they both entered the Nexus, and there are just consistent rumors of the two of them. They got a little bit of a thing. Sylvanas was caught more than once just, you know, arriving to work in the same clothes than the day before, arriving together with Malthael, and those are just some rumors that you just can't kill them. So, yeah, Sylvanas is flirting with death, maybe literally, we don't know. But the rumors are still there, they keep persisting. It's just like kind of workplace environment where you have to be a little bit careful about things like that. But hey, who are we to stand in the way of true law or death? And talking about death, seems like CHO'GALL is gonna go down here. Yep, that's the first kill. So, CHO'GALL goes down, completely obliterated with Stukov just a bit too late to the party. Stukov was still using the big arm to move towards the fight, I guess, and well, that's a kill that you definitely want to avoid in the early game if you can. The full build into the dagger from Sylvanas with 28 stacks right now. The lost souls here with the touch of death. And yeah, first seed is now up. Well, has been up for a while. Nobody cares. If it was a tribute on the other hand, you know, like then they would be really interested. But yeah, for now everybody is happy to delay this a bit. The blue team because they're playing Abathar, the red team because they're playing CHO'GALL. Both of them are like, we're cool with the late game. We're cool delaying this a little bit. We don't want to go into mega quick garden terrors or anything. The advantage for the blue team is that they have a mule. So they got a mule that they can use. Down at the bottom of the map, still Chromie with a Slowing Sands as her level 1. Level 10. That would be nice. Level 1 Slowing Sands. Oh yeah, baby. That's a talent right there. Easy choice. No. Since nobody's making any plays for those seeds, it's just playing all out like on a map without an objective. But I think once that level 10 abilities are kicking in, this is going to change fairly quickly. Right now, it's just everybody trying to get 2 heroics, trying to control the lanes a little bit. Hog at the top lane, just like spinning around, still has to deal with Malthael and the camps he's claiming. But down here, CHO'GALL again with a bit of aggression, and the red team is trying to get him into a good position. The blue team is more interested in taking the support away from him. Targeting Stukov whenever they can. Talking about targeting, they're going for Q at the top. Nice! But yeah, it's not enough firepower to seriously threaten Q, especially with Abathar on the map. That's the problem when you are going one-on-one against somebody. Abathar is just always cheating. He will always jump in and make that an unfair fight. So they gotta be careful on this. Last rites, obviously, for Malthael. We now got Mind Control, Ultimate Evolution, and the Blink here over here. Again, no surprises. The same is true on the other side. We got the big swipe. We got a couple of slaps coming in from Stukov. We get the Twisting Nether and the Hammer of Twilight. You can do a lot with the Slowing Sands of Chromie if you're trying to sync this up. We've seen in the past also Temporal Loop used in conjunction with it. Now that level 10 is in as expected, the seeds are slowly starting to be claimed. The Freedom Exporters have moved in and grabbed the first one. Damage output now at 10. Again, nothing crazy. Gall is sitting at 13,000. Sylvanas at 10k. Nothing insane. They're trying to go for Cure. This is actually going to be one of the important things. They need to try and make sure that Cure does not get too many stacks. They don't need to necessarily take him down a whole lot, but you want to make sure that he's not firing away his ult the entire time, because if he's able to get an enormous amount of cooldown reduction, then you're going to be in trouble. So they took the Abathar copy out, weren't able to take Malthael. CHO'GALL is also really low here. Getting that kill would have been amazing for them, but they just missed out on this. But again, as long as Cure doesn't get an insane amount of cooldown reduction, they should be fine. Prismaticism gets murdered though. Was hoping to jump on the wave, and then CHO'GALL just comes in, and that last auto attack was a little bit too much for him to handle. Ho ho ho! Brightwing also eats that full on And CHO'GALL was trying to start to move back in, but yeah, they gotta fall back to you. He's flirting with death here as well, though, because he was dropping lower and lower and lower as all of this continued. Now that we're seeing them push the top lane, they're going for the forts here right away. It's 2 kills to 1, and both teams are on essentially identical experience. Zul is rotating the entire time and trying to apply pressure to the lanes, with Hogga bouncing around in the bot lane. Yeah, big slaps from Stukov. Gets hit by the turn trap, and Stukov is dead. Stukov is gone, and that's a stack for Marcel. This is exactly the one thing they should try and avoid wherever they can. Also, there is another seat here, and while in the early game it didn't really matter to anybody who takes the seats and who doesn't, now this is starting to look a little bit different. You want to make sure that your opponent is not easily walking away with 2 and then all of a sudden goes for the first set of guard carries. So you should fight for this at least a little bit. Copy is out, so they go for the double Sylvanas here. Madara loses the copy instantaneously. I mean, it's instantly targeted and just gone. No chance. The early level 13 talent hasn't really done anything for them. Seed gets channeled, so good for the cats. They delayed it initially, and then they were able to claim it. With level 13, we also have now so much transference for Abathur, so that's going to be pretty nice for the extra survivability. Raw damage numbers, Gal still ahead with the 20,000. We got 16,000 for Syl. So, yeah, top side. CHO'GALL is... Also, Malthael moved back. CHO'GALL still sitting in the middle of the map, so has not come back to the top lane for now. 46 stacks for Sylvanas. And again, late game, I think this could become a bit tricky. Because CHO'GALL is gonna be very, very happy trading his life for a keep every now and then. Mind control is also gonna play a huge role here. Depending on how well this is being targeted, that could make all the difference in the team fight. Zul starts to move in here, but won't be able to get too much done against Chromie, not with the assist that we have. That, on the other hand, gets kind of interesting, because Brightwing is jumping in, and the Abathur copy. Alright, Madara is just YOLOing his ult out here. First of all, I don't really think that was needed, but oof, that was a quick one. I expected him to jump in with a symbiote, but dropping the ult? Not bad. Maybe he just fat-fingered this one. But yeah, he's still trying to save those siege giants a little bit longer, I guess. More pressure at that wall too. We have the seed up again. And with that, there's the hit against Porky. That's a pretty big one too. There's a lot of hit points that were lost here. There's a half-level experience lead still for the Freedom Exporters. But this could easily be the second seed now for the red team. The interrupt potential from Malthael in particular is always super nice though. They go for Brightwing, and yeah, no kill here, but a little bit of solid damage against Zul at least. They're firing from all angles. CHO'GALL is so annoying, by the way, when you're having to force yourself into a position, because all of that damage that comes out with those bouncing orbs is just crazy. Here's the channel again, they grab it, and that's 2 seeds now in the hands of the cats. So the cats are now ahead and are threatening the first objective of the game. More importantly, we have Molten Block, we got Virulent Reaction, and we got the Twilight Nova here, as we've already seen in play. But yeah, Molten Block is going to be a big one. Blocks that out, no problem for him. It's also going to be a tool that they're going to try and use against Marthael's ult whenever they can. Little bit of extra work done with that stun, but couldn't really give them a kill opportunity. Double Malthael again. Madara loves his ult. I mean, he is dropping the R button. Madara is turning into a pirate over here. Whenever it's ready, it's just like hit hard. Now, damage has also started to evolve a little bit. Look at Khaldor, for example. He is heavily pulling away from everyone else. 34,000 for Khaldor. And compare it to the other side, where Prismaticism is sitting at 22,000, that's quite a statement. Also, the siege damage. I mean, Hogga and 100,000, Gal above 100,000, Chromie 100,000, and then over on the other side, Zul is the top damage dealer for them on siege damage, and he's sitting at 68k. Hogga is already pogging himself to the next camp, so has gone to top lane and gotten a camp there too. Both teams now on level 16 talent. Still the red team trailing slightly. Azul at least gets the minion experience here. If you look at the experience distribution, minion experience, that's actually where they're getting elite. Hero XP, they double it. Mercenary XP, they're ahead. Minion experience, they're ahead. So, yeah, the passive experience is a little bit of a saving grace for the cats after they destroyed the fort at the top lane. So taking that out at least helps them a little bit. It's not a big gap yet, but it's obviously going to be widening as the game continues, unless the red team is losing some structures as well. Talking about losing things, that could be a kill, and it nearly was. Cure is saved by... Oh! Saved by Brightwing, and then for a second looked like both of them are in trouble. But they're still pressuring for that fort at the bottom of the map, and you know what? If they're taking more structures out, that would be pretty big. The passive experience increase would be huge. The Freedom Explorers are already starting to lose the experience advantage. Slowly, but it's happening. But the second seed is taken at the top left. So, what does that mean? That means that the next seed is going to give us Garden Towers, and Brightwing, no, gets killed at the bottom of the map, and that's the fort gone. So the passive experience increased even further by the cats. They go for Cure, they want the camp, and they steal it. Camp is taken, and it's by the way crazy when we have like a full team fight between the teams, and you have the entire time the ops that are coming from CHO'GALL, and then behind that, Chromie can just do whatever she wants. Nano is used to being under a lot of pressure because he oftentimes gets targeted by the opponent, but just trying to shut him down. But now, CHO'GALL is such a fantastic meat shield for him that it's just firing like, the entire time. So he can just unleash a barrage of attacks and is guarded by CHO'GALL and all of that chaos that he just puts into that battle, which is crazy. So right now, 2 forts are already gone. Cure barely survives. And it seems like this fort is going to fall for sure, even with Abathur trying to fuel it up. A little bit more damage from either Nano or from CHO'GALL, and that's it. And that's 3 forts gone. So the passive experience increase that we're getting currently from the cats is substantial. They're already pulling ahead here. And that doesn't even account for the catapult pressure that obviously is now becoming a factor too. Once level 20 is hit, I still expect the death timer reduction. And for the blue team, this is going to be a little bit awkward now, because they've been doing well early on. They got their kills initially. They were able to do a lot of work here, but now they're starting to really suffer a bit. And there's the Garden Terrors. The seed was not even contested. Position was too bad for the blue team, so there's the seed. Yeah, Orga's trying to get away. And the rest of the team rotated in as they're attempting to force the fight. Garden Terrors in the middle and at the bot lane are going to push heavily. And over here, they're just taking these out without problems at all. So everybody's on the run. Hogga is moving back down towards the bottom and the mid lane. And again, they are going to do some work here. With CHO'GALL now sieging up topside. Nope, they're actually rotating over. They're trying to come for Malthael. Ah, well, okay, it's only the copy. I got excited already. I was like, what is Cure doing here? Somebody is inting. And I was like, wait a second. So, yeah, Malthael, he is still alive. Abathur, on the other hand, lost his copy. And is now trying to mule the shit out of this. But the keep is taking damage. CHO'GALL still low. And this seems like they're going to potentially lose the keep. All of them will take damage from the looks of it. Yeah, CHO'GALL is still sieging up here. And, well, here we go. So, that is Twilight Frenzy, and in addition to that, we got the Hour of Twilight. So right now, you have the death timer reduction. That is the dangerous part. Now if CHO'GALL just starts to int at some point and says like, you know what, I don't care, I'm going ham on this one. I'm going to go for structures. Then even if when they kill him, he will be back in time before they cross the map and can capitalize on it. Forts, okay, they might be able to take a few forts out. But they can't take a keep or anything like it because CHO'GALL died on the left side. I mean, obviously, it matters where he falls. But what they've done in the past is just simply trade CHO'GALL's life for keeps. Yeah, last right is up, but they're creating some space! And it's insane! He just sits there, he doesn't care. Where's that last right? It's like, again, it didn't kill anybody. Last rights did not give them a stack. They got 1 stack earlier, and that was all that they were able to do against Stukov at that top lane attack. But CHO'GALL is just simply sitting there and like, yep, I don't care. So they are pushing them back further and further. The teams are both on level 20 talents right now. And we have a big push at the bottom of the map that needs to be reacted to. This is where Malthael comes into play. But this allows the red team to move into the middle again, and that's exactly where they are. They need to deal with that key before Abathur mules it up again, which is what they're trying to do here. And the mule is gone, and so will be the keep in a second. So that's the first keep that has fallen. Not a single fort is destroyed on the red team side. They haven't lost a single fort. And currently, the Freedom Experts are just being played. They're locked into their base, more or less. It's not quite that bad, but we're getting there. 51,000 damage for Sylvanas. She's at 100 stacks now on level 1. Roughly. 55,000 damage for Gal in the meantime. And, well, they are sieging up on the next few structures. Abathar is now trying to repair the top lane. Again, he initially was hoping to save the keep in the middle. That already backfired. So now they're trying the same thing, but I feel they're playing a losing battle here. Sylvanas barely gets away. They're shifting the focus straight onto the front line. Zul, main tank, gets attacked. And yeah, it's not the only target. Cure is there too, gets attacked as well. Uh-oh, CHO'GALL is a bit low. They get the kill on Malthael. Molten block is in. Madara with the Malthael copy was hoping to take CHO'GALL down, and he just couldn't. At least the real Malthael was able to buy back. So they got a kill, but Malthael already bought back. The good news for the blue team is that they actually have Siege Giants in the middle. But it doesn't really look like this is going to cost the team a fort. Abathar has been pushing there a bit, but guess who's back? CHO'GALL is back to business and saves the day. So as the dust starts to settle a bit, one keep has been destroyed. The others still in play. And the good news for the exporters is they have still 2 seeds. Now, during all of this, the Cats locked in 1 additional seed. But if the blue team is able to get themselves a seed, then all of a sudden, not only will these lanes be pushed back, likely they will be able to take forts down too. So that would be a big step if they can get there. They gotta take that seed. And currently Chromie is interrupting this hard. And CHO'GALL is just an absolute rampaging maniac in every single team fight. Gal on 64,000, 65,000 siege damage now. Yeah, Chromie is trying for the channel and can't do anything here. There's, by the way, also camp at the top and catapults. So while this plays out, Hogger has just taken camps and created more pressure on the lanes. So in the long term, this is a losing battle for the exporters. They try the channel here, and they get it. They get it. That's huge. That's big. And can they get kills? Chromie, and she gets away. Chromie gets away. Once again, last rights used and didn't give them a kill. And boy, this would have been... That top lane would have been such a problem. If that CHO'GALL orb that he unleashed would have hit properly and interrupted the channel, this keep would have likely fallen just from this play with the mercenary camps at the top lane. As is, the orb just didn't hit the hero channeling. And therefore, they now have at least some garden terrors that they can use. But one at the bottom of the map has already been defeated. And the other 2 are, of course, way back. But again, it gives them a little bit of breathing room. Buys them some time, gives them some breathing room here. Still. It's a tough one. They need to destroy more than just a single fort. And by the way, a fort that already was severely damaged. Now, there is pressure through Abathar at the bottom of the map. That's another good one. But another Garden Terror goes down. I would be an amazing hero, by the way, for Garden of Terror. I have something that's called a Black Thumb. If you're planned, I can kill you. Without even trying. Without trying, I can kill you. You're planned, you come to my place, you have a death wish. So just imagine that. Like, we need a hero, that has the Black Thumb ability. Well, they have a kill ability. They take Hogger down. So that is actually... This is not really kill every game when you think about it. This is kill number 7 in the entire game, and now 21 minutes in. But that was an important one. This, on the other hand, is now interesting. Again, the death timer is the interesting part, but they have Mule. Going for the core? I expect them to go for keeps. Going for the core is interesting. That's a lot of damage here. So, 70%, 60%. They got it down to 54%. And look at the death time of Gal. That's 30 seconds. So they had to send heroes back in order to deal with this. And Gal is going to be back in 30 seconds. Abathar needs to mule the hell out of this. 54%. And we're likely going to see something similar. Now the game is going to get a bit crazy. Because at this point the Cats are saying like, hey, maybe we can't win this team fight. Maybe we have to backdoor them. So right now, Gal is back any second. And you see what I mean. They couldn't cross the map and take a keep though. They weren't able to simply cross the map and take a keep. So now we have to... I have absolutely no idea how much Mule at this point can repair on the core. But let's see how much they're going to get out of this. But suffice it to say that CHO'GALL is a huge issue here. So it was a 54%. And the Mule gets, let's say, 15 probably. That's a lot of Mules again. So CHO'GALL is already trying to go for the seed here. And, well, let's see what they can pull off at this point with CHO'GALL. Once again, the double mouth ale. Last rights not used yet. Core is at 68%. So 14% can be repaired. 14 to 15% per mule. Meaning he needs 2 mules from this point onwards to make up for it. If CHO'GALL gets this much damage in, that's 3 mules. 3 times that you have to drop the cooldown. Yeah, that makes it dangerous. I thought they would just go for keeps. That's much easier to destroy. But they applied core pressure instead. So, double camp at the top. The blue team is really getting momentum here. It might not look like it because they're now down a bit on the core, but again, they can mule this up and Adothiles just drop the next mule. But they got so many camps just a second ago that they really applied some pressure. And let's not forget that Malthael also got a second stack for last rights. As again, it's not really that crazy just now. We're already 24 minutes in. 2 stacks instead of 1. This is not going to change the game for you. But it's at least a step into the right direction. But look at that. CHO'GALL again on the move. And they're already having heroes in position. They already sent them back. Because they know that he's most likely coming in here. He just creates some space for them. But can they channel that quickly enough? Or is there going to be an interrupt? Seems like they're going to be able to... Yeah, it's going to be the second seed for the Cats. This is something that they're going to try from here on out. Whenever there's an objective, whenever there's an attack, they're going to try and send CHO'GALL towards the core if they can. Just to push the opponent back and signal clearly if you go for the objective, if you go for the attack that you are planning here, you will lose points on the core. Now, again, if you take catapults, or not catapults, if you take keeps out, you have catapults pushing. This one, for example, would be a really nice target. The core will be nearly fully repaired by the time this mule is done. But the threat is obvious. So, yeah. For now, let's see what else we're getting from the red team. If they're, for example, totally fine going to team fights now again. Or not. So, 97% now on the core. Nearly fully healed. Oh, Malthael. No! Malthael gets caught and killed. He has his ult ready. He has his level 20. So, he's back. Comes in immediately. And hello. That's a kill. CHO'GALL is gone. That's a kill. That's 30 seconds that he's down. 30 seconds down. That should be an easy... Well, actually, it's not necessarily an easy seed. No, okay, they have it. They have it. Malthael being able to buy it back just saves the day for them in a situation like this. So, the blue team is throwing everything that they have against them. And they're doing pretty okay. CHO'GALL will be back, but him dying in that spot, that's tough. Earlier, I honestly would have said the blue team is gonna die a slow and painful death. Now they're looking better and better and better. So, this is, I mean, super tense. One bad... It always depends who dies. And for example, Right Wing, Zul, Sylvanas Fall, they won't be able to respawn right away. So, that would probably put the nail in the coffin. Just on the damage numbers. Imagine Sylvanas not falling. She's at 69,000 damage. Nice. 80,000 for Gal. And, well, the next seed is spawning very nicely in the territory of the Cats. If they claim that seed, it's the second set of Garden Terrors. Whoever takes this will have Garden Terrors. Hogger has already done some damage at the top. Mitra is now slowly moving down to the bottom of the map. And they are already starting to guard this. And Cure is here. Are they trying to interrupt? I mean, Cure is there, but he's the only one. Okay, finally the blue team is starting to move. They got to. I would have been shocked if they just accepted this one. But the channel is happening. Interrupts are coming through. Sylvanas from behind and gets instantly attacked. There's the shockwave. Chromie. Brightwing tries for the sneaky one. Sneaky channel, and instead to focus on Hogger, forcing Hogger deep into enemy territory, and all of a sudden my try is gone. Nicely done. Perfect fight in a great position for the Freedom Exporters. That was a well-executed little trap by them. They forced Hogger to go deep for the interrupt. First they forced the opponent away from the seed, and then when he had to go this deep to make sure that Brightwing doesn't get the channel, they focused on him right away, got the kill. Outplayed. The Cats positionally making some mistake in that situation, but no! Sylvanas gets murdered by CHO'GALL. Bot lane attack against the keep. This might be the only one that they can take, and even that is a bit of a question mark. That Sylvanas kill against Prisma was way too much, and they have to back off again. The keep is still in play. This is ridiculous. Seriously. I mean, damn. What? So now we have 2 seeds against 0, essentially. Once that the Garden Terror at the top lane has been defeated. Nice job by Abathur, by the way, pushing this a bit further at the bot lane, so this is super low now. They go for Zul! Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Team, even with Brightwing, that might be a problem. Sylvanas is still not here. CHO'GALL goes deep. Wants the fruit fly. Can they get the rest? Nah, the copy is already there. The Malthael copy. No, the Zul copy, actually, in this case. And at the bot lane, again, the pressure. This is the keep destroyed. So 2 keeps fall. But the team fight might not be over. Brightwing alive. And CHO'GALL slowly retreating as they're trying to focus on Cure with a stun. And Brightwing gets murdered. Brightwing is all of a sudden dead. And this might change things. This might actually be game. Brightwing is gone. Cure will die. He should have his 20, and he does. He buys back immediately. No one can stop death. Well, we'll see about that, because the red team is certainly trying. Now they're coming in. Can they go for core or keep? One of the two. They try to go for Zul again. Stunned out already. Eats the damage. Eats a ton. Zul is dead. Zul and Brightwing both eliminated. Mule already called down as they're trying to save the day here. But the Cats are on the warpath. They're dropping the shield on the core, and the core gets absolutely murdered. They're going through that thing like hot butter through cheese. CHO'GALL dies though. CHO'GALL is down. The rest of the team has to try and end this. I don't know if they can. 7%. And the man with the big hand slaps it hard, and that is game. GG. Well played. Battlefield of Eternity! Final map, game number 3. So, CHO'GALL bounty completed. The Cats have pulled it off. I mean, we basically called it in the first draft in game number 1 already that they want to play CHO'GALL. The Freedom Exporters knew it as well. They banned CHO'GALL in the 3rd spot on the first map, but then game number 2, different story. But this one went long. I mean, that was a little bit nuts towards the end. Brightwing, if Brightwing doesn't die, then I think the blue team has a real shot at winning that game. That was way too close. So now we're going again into the 3rd map, and we ask the age-old question, bounty or no bounty, and what's going to be the answer? Quick reminder, we have 20 heroes that are now not available anymore because they were played already. I guess 19, depending on how you count CHO'GALL. So, bounties, again, here, you can check a little bit if one of the teams goes for it. Battlefield of Eternity has traditionally been a map where some teams decided to go for a triple healer combo or even for a no healer combo. The triple healer is oftentimes when you're using Uther as your main tank and then 2 healers behind it, and you can still go for Bala, for example, or for Suljin. Just some of these scaling heroes that do really well into the later stages of the game. Other heroes that we see, there are bounties that we could get. Yeah, I think we had Valera once, so when you're looking at the team fights, you can play around her a little bit. Not sure if anybody would really go for a bounty at this point. We are in the winner bracket semi-final after all, so if you win here, you move on to the winner bracket final, where you have a direct shot to qualify for the playoffs. If you lose, you're dropping down into the losers bracket, so we'll see what the teams are willing to risk in such an important map. Because again, these are 2 teams that could definitely end up in the playoffs. Medivh banned, Tracer as well. We've seen the impact of Medivh in some of the previous ones, of course, too. And, well, on the other side, then Hanzo gets banned out, but that results in Vala as a first pick. You want to get some immortal damage in. Li Ming could still be great on that account, of course, too. So she's usually somebody that is fantastic on Battlefield of Eternity. You have Greymane still available. That's another one. So, yeah, we'll see. But, yeah. Bounty or no bounty, and if not, what kind of strategy are the cats pursuing in the final map? Lucio and Li Ming. So we get Li Ming for the poke against the Immortal. The theory, again, from Li Ming on the map is simple. You are attacking the Immortal from range. Your opponent either has to accept the damage or they have to throw a hero into the path of the missiles. And then the hero loses hit points, puts pressure on the healer, and eventually you can try and go for a kill here. We've seen also more and more glass cannon builds for Li Ming on this map, specifically on this map. And this looks like our triple healer combo. If not, then at least a double support for Vala. But this could be that triple healer that we talked about. Uther doubling as a main tank. And if you look at who has picked Uther at this point in time, it is their tank player. So we could see the triple heal with Vala for them, plus a side laner. We'll see, time will tell. But there is an option for them to now go for exactly that. And I think the cats at this point have obviously already figured this out a little bit. They ban out Maiev, they don't want to deal with her, especially if it ends up to be a triple healer support. Maiev at some point, she just wouldn't die anymore. Now, if you go glass cannon with Li Ming, that's normally something that you do because you're staying at range and you're trying to just go against the Immortal time and time again against the opponent. On other maps, you don't really see a whole lot. There's too much flank potential too. And while Li Ming can get damage out with glass cannon, she obviously dies mega quickly. So, we'll see. But right now, we got Sergeant Hammer banned out. And with the spider senses tingling after seeing the double pick for the Freedom Exporters, the question is still, what are we getting now as a reaction from their opponents? Because it's not going to be a mystery to the cats what could happen here. It's either just going to be a typical double support for Vala with an auto attack, or it's really them dipping deep into the sustain and heals and going for the bounty. Now the cats have to decide if they want to go for bounty themselves. They have Chen. Okay, Chen for the side lane, and we get Nano. This looks more and more like we're not going to get a bounty attempt from them. If they would have gone for anything else, I could have seen maybe some kind of weird double heal with Lily Chen trying to go for that bounty. Unlikely, and they played Chen obviously. No, they actually didn't play Chen. Sorry, it was a different series where it was played. So, yeah. But we've seen some Chen plays. But okay. Could also function as a main tank. Capybara style. And there we go. Tyrael plus Yrel. No bounty. No bounty for the Freedom Exporters. We get Tyrael with extra shields. There's a little bit more support for Vala. Plus Yrel on the side later than Uther and Oriel. And from the looks of it, the cats are actually also not risking anything here. Just going for a full-on meta build. They still have a chance, obviously, to now go for an additional bounty hero. But are they really going to pull that off? It's such an important game. I'm not so sure. Other teams would have done it. In Group A, we had some crazy stuff. Off we go. The final map. Game number 3. On the left side, Cure on Yrel for the Freedom Exporters. Lobby dropped, by the way, because apparently one of the players disconnected on the last pick. So we didn't just go through the entire pick pattern again. They obviously just announced what their last choice was. In this case, it was ETC. And we continued from there. Yeah, it was a little bit of an abrupt ending to the draft. For the blue team, we got Prismaticism on Tyrael right now with Ardent Restoration on level 1. So we could see, and we likely will see him go for a Judgment. We got Academy Groves on Uther, we got Mother on Vala, and Porky on Oriel. With now on the right side, the cats with Drachia on Cassia, Maitri on Chen, Captain Rex on Lucio, Erath on ETC, and Nano on Li Ming. After his Chromie performance already earlier today, we get him with more mage action. As a side note, we have obviously still adjusting on Uther right now. That's double support right behind Vala that they can use here. Vala gonna work on those auto attacks as she went straight into Creed of the Hunter on level 1. Ah, the good old times. Oh my god. Did you see that EDC slide? Imagine that on level 10. That would have been the perfect 4-man mosh pit right there. Oh, a man can dream. But great stacks for Cassia. Damn, girl. You're doing good. 14 already. 1 minute into the game. That would be amazing if that continues like this. Cassia just sitting there and ramping up her damage early on. I think this is going to slow down very soon and very quickly. But for now, she is in a great spot. That is mainly because the red team or the blue team has decided that they're going to go full on aggression. It's a 2-3 split for the Cats. So they're lacking heroes at the bot lane. And that's why we're having the blue team aggressively pushing in. So the wall is lost. That's the cost of all of this. And they're losing out, but they are stacking Cassia very, very quickly as a result. Interesting. It's a very interesting trade-off. Valla didn't get a lot of stacks in this exchange, but Cassia certainly did and now can continue this. Stun's already out. Nice! Whipped by Oriel straight into the corner. The red team is falling back though, so that's an objective. Well, a mercenary camp for the Americans. Freedom! They're exporting freedom wherever they go. Just not of Garden of Terror today. But maybe on Battlefield of Eternity they can export a little bit more. They're very good at freedom also, I've heard. Which also means that I expect certain talent choices from Uther and from Yrel. Just saying. So, yeah. But there's a level 4 talents as they're starting to kick in, and there we go. Freedom! The hand of freedom immediately for Yrel. Clearly an American space code. Now, 37 stacks for Cassia. Damn, girl. That is kinda crazy. That's actually pretty nuts. Now, that is something that you normally accomplish around the 8-minute mark. Now we're 3 minutes in. She could become a problem later. If the dynamic of the game changes a little bit, then we'll see. But for now, this is already indicating that she could very well become a problem for the blue team as this continues. Her damage output in a late game situation could be kind of crazy. But we're jumping ahead of ourselves. This is a very nice progress for her. But if all of a sudden the dynamic in the game changes and she's not able to get a lot of stacks, then obviously things will change quickly. For now, it's all about Immortal #1. Damage is already slowly coming in here. Dracula is just hitting things hard and is also trying to connect with the Immortal wherever he can. Damage output for Valla. Valla actually has 50 stacks already. So she is stacking her level 1 quest nicely. It's not only Cassia that is doing well. The raw damage, I mean, honestly, normally I don't go for the damage numbers this early in the game, but if you look at it, Cassia is already sitting at 15,000. It's kind of bonkers. It's actually a little bit bananas. There's a blue team that loses hit points on the Immortal quickly. The continuous poke that we're getting here is really working. And that's a kill. That's Tyrael down. Tyrael is demolished and murdered. And, well, 10,000 damage for Valla is nice, but now they're going for Oriel. And guess what? She's dead too. That's a double kill. That's a double kill, and they already won the halftime show. That's 50 stacks for Cassia. Yep, that late game is going to be more than a little bit interesting. So, right now, the fight just continues. Valla is dead as well. Oh my god. Yeah. Blue team is starting to have some problems here. That's 3 heroes down, one of them Valla. 5% of the attack speed bonus are now gone. And they're going for the first objective and will drop that Immortal quickly, which means that now we have a level 7 talent lead, which, to be fair, will be negated in a second. There it is. But this is still going to be an aggressive push through the bottom of the map. Valla obviously gets now a little bit more support here with the Energized Core 2, but still, this was a little bit unexpected, I have to admit. I didn't expect 3 heroes to die on the side of a team that has double support plus shields from Tyrael, and then Valla dying in the process too. That was a bit bonkers. So, yeah, they will take the wall down. I think the fort is going to take some serious damage. Just how much, but they broke through the shield already, so not too bad. And we have 60 stacks for Cassia. That is wild. And obviously it's not only Cassia that dishes out damage here, you also have Li Ming that you really have to take care of. And as long as the focus is on Cassia, Li Ming is going to have way more wiggle room in the back to get those hits connected. Defense wasn't too bad. 50% of the HP are gone. They go for Valla again, by the way. Valla! And they save her. Alright, Vala's fine. Whip it to the wall against Cassia on the other hand. But, well, Draka makes it. Runs a few more hits. Is he actually going to get out of this? And the answer is yes. It's a little bit closer than initially expected, but he's able to get away. And Tyrael dies again. Tyrael is dead once more. That's 4 kills to 0. And Cassia is at 70 stacks. I have seen games end with Cassia on 70 stacks. She has 27,000 damage. She is basically doubling, nearly doubling what Vala has. And the game has just started. So this could be a total blowout. I mean, alarm bells are ringing all over the place at this point. Now, the blue team gets pressured. It's a half-level advantage for the Cats now in this decisive map of the best of 3 series. The loser drops down into the lower bracket, and the winner moves on to the winner bracket final. But we have 81 stacks now for Cassia on the Cats. Vala is not doing too bad either, by the way. She lost 5% of her attack speed bonus because she died once, but she's also sitting at 100 stacks basically. So that's pretty good. Nah, the caster curse strikes hard. Vala gets slapped around. Nope. And that's another kill. That's 10% of the attack speed bonus now gone. And with that lineup, that should happen. So, yeah, they go for Tyrael again. He escapes. But with all of that crazy sustain that they have here, it's bonkers. The level 10 abilities obviously allow them to push for the fort and they take it out. Now both teams have their heroics. We get Resurrect from Oriel, and the Immortals already up. Judgment, as expected. Maybe now that they have their ults, they can start to use them, sync them up properly, and get kills and change the momentum of the game. But at this point in time, the blue team is just suffering. So, off we go. Chen is already coming in, trying for Vala, trying to isolate her. She gets away. Yeah, well, he goes for the top kick plays here. Only top shelf performance from Chen, obviously. There's the judgment play from Tyrael, but it's instantly negated from Lucio. Here comes the Valkyrie. Yeah, okay, that didn't go anywhere. For a second, it looked like they might be able to do something at least with the Mosh, but even that is not giving them any results, any big ones at least. But we have now 91 stacks for Cassia. She's gonna have a great game. Yep, Vala is just getting the damage out too. Can't really catch up, but still. Oh, 3-2-3 moment in the third game. The Freedom Exporters with a tactical pause here. They want to export the Freedom, but now it's the big pause at this point in time. Down at the bottom of the map, Cure still sitting tight. Not sure what it is. Maybe, just maybe, Prismaticism is getting called right now. Prismaticism, food's ready. But Mom, I'm playing video games. Not sure what exactly is going on here, but yeah, tactical pause confirmed. Big 3-2-3 here from the blue team as the red team is on the move. Nan obviously is not going to aim for the Immortal. The fight was initially shifting towards the red team side, but now they just simply moved in, pushed it towards the left, and are trying to get some extra damage in as well. But yeah, for now, whatever the problem was, it seems to be resolved. And then blue team is actually setting up a decent defense here too. 9 globes only for Tyrael. We'll probably talk about that as well. It's always a little bit tricky when you're going for globe talents on a map like Battlefield of Eternity. If you continuously win the objective and take mercenary camps, it's a bit easier. But in this case, he only has... And now that they're going for their own camp, there's a shot for the Cats to come in and do some damage here, which is exactly what they're doing. So yeah, some easy damage. Li Ming firing away, winning the halftime show for them. Q already sniffed out here, and yeah, Drag here just poking. Gireth on the money pick, just trying to ride to a potential play, and yeah, just creating a little bit of space here. EDC is always nice when you're defending on the Immortal, because you can stun an opponent into the Immortal stun or try to just simply push them into it. Good dodge on the whip too. The chase, not too bad, but the race is won by the red team. So they get their second Immortal. Immortal number 2, the second objective of the game, goes over to the Cats as well as they're pushing for the top. And this means that the Freedom Exporters have to play this a little bit slow and safe, trying to defend at the top. And the problem, of course, is that level 13 is now also kicking in, which means that we have a talent advantage with this push. One fort at the bottom of the map has already been destroyed earlier. Now they have the opportunity to take maybe a second one out. And yeah, they're already firing away here. So, aiming straight for that second fort for more catapult pressure against the Freedom Exporters. And also, of course, trying to take their fountain out. If you don't have fountains any longer, then hey, even better. So, those are the hits. Fort is definitely gone. No saving this one. Uther! Self-divine, but he might still fall. ETC with a slide. Uther gets murdered. That's 100 stacks for Cassia now. Triple digits for our girl. And 43,000 damage. Top side, the wall or the fort has been destroyed. Uther could still be resurrected. They're deciding against it here. There's no real benefit in pulling that off in the situation that they're currently in. But quick reminder also, not a single kill yet. Not one for the Freedom Export. They're exporting a lot of freedom and not exporting a lot of damage. So, yeah, they are obviously trying to build up a little bit of momentum here, but they are just not getting any kills. Vala has lost 10% of her attack speed bonus. Once she hits 16, she still will have Manticore, and that's going to hit pretty hard. She has 129 stacks, not too bad. So, the auto attacks are definitely going to do damage. But they need kills. And they haven't gotten any so far. Camp at the top, they're trying to isolate Porky. Porky is in trouble, but only a little bit. The rest of the team is already covering the play. And move straight for the damage dealers to force them down. But again, the longer this lasts, the more of these big team fights we have that are fully sustained, the more stacks already are kicking in for Cassia. Maybe now the kill. There's the mosh pit, Draca's in trouble, and finally, a sign of life from the Americans. Cassia gets destroyed. That was an important one. She is the top damage dealer in the game, on the team. They needed to eliminate her, and they have. Now Vala has a little bit more freedom and is stacking once again. Urel had to though, deal with the top lane because that wall is getting destroyed by the catapult and the camp that has been claimed a bit earlier. Immortal is spawning again. Cassia is going to be back in time, more or less. And the fight comes in and focuses again on Tyrael. Good whip though from Auriel. Saving Prismaticism for now. Divine Shield on Vala. They're still trying to isolate her. And they might be able to. Madara! You can see it. The sustain. Is it going to be enough? And the answer is yes. For now at least it is. Madara is just on the run. Clearly talked to Anduin. Really, really cool skills here from Vala to rush away. So she had some advice. Anduin is just the best when it comes to that. So yeah, he's been coaching her apparently. But Uther, he died. So Uther is down. That's a 5 versus 4. Resurrect not being, well, actually now being used. Resurrect being used on Uther. So they're getting the 5-man back into action as they're making a play down to the bottom of the map. Hits still coming. Vala is sneaking over towards the Immortal, trying to finally win one for the team. Great save earlier, by the way. That was clutch. If Vala died again in that situation, I mean, they would have resurrected her, I suppose, but that would have still been a bit of a disaster. Now they go for Cure, who has to pop his ult. Yeah, Cure on the ult. Rest of the team, again, trying to isolate them a little bit. Drak here, moving in as he can. But everybody is just dodging around the Immortal, and now the blue team in full retreat. They're also starting to drop a little bit lower on some hit points and mana, so they might have to go back down. Oh, the Valkyrie! And no! Madara gets hit hard. Halftime show victory. Level 16 talents just kicked into... Oh, yeah, the NA team just doesn't get a break here, do they now? Again, they play at a ping disadvantage. It has to be highlighted here. That is a bit of a problem. Earlier, we had Resurrect already used, which means that Vala cannot be resurrected. She died 3 times now in this game and has therefore lost 15% of her attack speed bonus. Li Ming has overtaken Cassia as a top damage dealer, by the way. The two of them fighting a bit of an internal battle, with the next Immortal traveling through the bot lane where they are already setting up. And Vala's back. Vala's back to business, so she can now try and help out. But yep, the attack is slowly starting to kick in on the wall. There's also a double catapult with this, so this is brutal. This is not only... We have a camp now, we have an objective, we have also a double catapult. Yeah, and a level 60 talent advantage. I mean, let's be honest here. This should destroy the keep. The first keep of the game should fall here. It should go down. There's 50% still on the shield, a little bit less than that. But it's enormous amount of damage. Valkyrie misses. Catapults are not on the core yet, but they will travel farther forward. And they are still hitting this one hard, and the keep is already down to 50% of its HP. So the stacks keep coming. Here comes the next play to isolate Uther, and it's once again a kill. Uther is gone, and it seems like this might be the end of the road in the winner bracket for the Freedom exporters. They're not exporting anything here. I see a lot of imports. They're importing a lot of damage, a lot of pain, and a lot of sorrows, but no exports that I can tell. 16 is ready. Maybe it empowers them to defend, but now that Tyrael is gone, I would say the chances of them defending here are slim to none. They would need some insane kills, and I just don't see them coming. Core is at 50%, Immortal is eliminated, so is Ureldo, and that is the end of Tyrael. Ladies and gentlemen, with 124 stacks towards the end, Cassia with good damage, but it's Li Ming that gets the top damage here. They go for Porky, and it's a 5-man team wipe as they go for Core and Glory. The blue team drops down into the loser's bracket, and the Cats advance to the winner bracket final. GG, well played, with 50 kills to 1 at the end of game number 3.